All right. So, what else has been going on? So, I have decided to embark on. I remember when I played Wilds and I came away from that conflicted, and I was like, I fucked around with Monster Hunter GU a little bit.
Yeah, you were going back to compare it to the peak.
So I'm playing Monster Hunter GU, like at length. So that game is about 10 years old, give or take.
On what?
On the Switch.
Okay.
It's an up port of a 3DS game. And that is the culmination of all the old Monster Hunter.
Yeah, that's Smash Ultimate, right?
Yeah, Smash Ultimate of old Monster Hunter. And it is everything that Monster Hunter is. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of boring ass go kill small monsters or go farm mushrooms. Just tedious, absolute garbage. And the wild streamlining has definitely lost a lot of that stuff. So one of the things that old Monster Hunter games love to do that new Monster Hunter games don't, because they don't bother, is they would send you on some bullshit quest like, go get 10 unique mushrooms. And it's really just an excuse to have you gathering all over the map. But then the 10 unique mushroom quest drops in a monster that you're absolutely not prepared for at all.
Okay.
Like, hey, can you go get 10 unique mushrooms? Okay, here comes Astalos to fucking harass you and try and murder you while you try and do that. And then you go, oh, fuck, I don't know what that is. That's an Astalos? Jesus. But more than that, I've been playing the Gathering Hub in multiplayer with Chad. I've been streaming it. And I noticed something really, really interesting about the division between your older games and the newer ones. So the time to kill on monsters is about the same between the old games and the new ones. It is about 3 to 5 minutes of a dedicated team beating the monster's ass for a while before they, they bow out. The difference is that monsters are faster and more aggressive in GU in the older games. They don't flinch as easy. They are they're like much faster.
They're just harder overall. Are you describing?
They're more threatening. They're more aggressive.
Now, are you describing like the onboarding beginning difficulty?
Oh yeah. So I have carded more times in low rank multiplayer in GU than I did the entirety of playing Wilds.
Okay. Is this also one of those cases where because you're playing the final version of like the final chapter that it's like already tuned for experts?
No. Low rank in GU is the same as it was in Gen and is equivalent to the way it was in 4 and the way it was in Tri and all that. That's just how monsters used to work.
Okay.
And there's something else going on, and I think I have figured out why monsters seem much less aggressive in Wilds. And that is you've given every weapon in Monster Hunter tons of new moves. Like your moveset in GU is significantly curtailed compared to how it is in World or Rise or Wilds, right? You would never, ever get a great sword true charge slash out on something in GU because they move around too much and they're too fast. And I went and checked, and when monsters got moved to World, their speed and their turning radius and their overall like fastness was turned down. And I believe what's happening is you need to slow the monsters down so that people can use the whole cool moveset.
Okay. You had those moves, but you just could never pull them off.
If you transplanted like the Rise moveset into GU, you would never finish anything because the monster would move or spin or attack or whatever.
Is any part of this also like DMC4 had guard flying, type of thing?
It absolutely is.
Right.
So in GU, they added all these styles. And one of those styles is called Valor style. And it is the basis for all of the world movesets. So like it has lots of parrying and lots of like shrug off type of mechanics. And that game, those monsters cannot deal with it. Like you can see like the prototype world moveset, and you can see how certain monsters just can't handle it. Like originally there were only 4 styles in Generations, which was Guild, Striker, Aerial, and Adept. And then Ultimate added Alchemy and Valor. And Valor is just one of those things that just like a lot of them just can't deal with it.
This is a modifier independent of your weapon choice?
Yeah, so you pick your weapon, and then you pick one of 6 styles, and then on top of that, you pick Hunter Arts, which are little super moves. So even though you're going back to a smaller move set overall, you have like 6 grooves essentially from CVS2 to fuck around with.
Wow.
So you can play Greatsword the whole game, and just every hunt move the fucking style around, and it's a very, very, very different gameplay experience.
Is it like the same core moves, but then the attributes change?
No. Guild style is normal, your normal move set. Then you have Striker style, which is a diminished move set, but more super moves. Then you have Aerial, which changes your roll into a jump, and so you're constantly jumping straight up into the air to do aerial attacks. Then Adept is if you dodge and an enemy hitbox hits you while your body is off the ground, you go into like a roadie run and you get moves out of the roadie run. And then Valor is Royal Guard.
Okay.
And if you Royal Guard enough, you get a second better moveset that drains over time.
For every weapon. Wow.
And then Alchemy has the smallest moveset of all, but you are constantly building a ticker in the background that just lets you make free items as like a support role.
Okay, and so was this one of those features that was like, okay, as of try, they introduced a couple styles? And
no, it was just for Generations and Ultimate.
Huh, okay.
And you play through them, and I'm playing through with a bunch of different weapons and trying out a bunch of different styles, and I go, okay, Valor style became the world longsword style. And Valor style became the Wilds dual swords. And then Striker style became World's Sword and Shield. And you can basically see that these are all like prototypes and what moves were popular and what moves felt good.
Wow.
Going forward.
Yeah, that's a lot. So if you were to...
It's a lot.
Yeah,
14 weapons times 6
yeah,
styles.
Yeah, because I was about to say, like, the weapon counts have seemed to always been around the however many, like, low teen numbers, right? But then you have modifiers like that where, well, I mean, I guess a lot of this does really sound like, hey, Alpha 3 double upper.
That is exactly what G is.
Like every single character in a Street Fighter Alpha history, and then they all have 4 isms to pick from. And yeah, this is what this mode is getting, but we're never going to bring all this forward. It's an insane amount of content.
Ultimate has 14 weapons with 6 styles each, and has a returning monster cast of 93 large monsters, which is by far the largest roster.
So if one weapon had one style that was particularly garbage and didn't work well for it, and
pick another one.
Yeah, and you didn't get to ever use this moveset, no big deal, because whatever, there's a ton.
Yeah.
But now when we have one weapon having one moveset, it becomes much more like streamlined, but also you have to make sure that each of those movesets feels useful to the player.
They pick and choose like all the little parts that they liked to carry forward into the base moveset. And they did the same thing with Rise. Rise had wire bug moves, and then they picked and chose the ones that people really liked and carried those forward into Wild. So like for an example, Sword and Shield in GU as normal, it has some slashes, and then has like the horizontal splashes, and it has the shield bash. And you can jump backwards and jump forward and do a big slash, and that's it. That's the total move set. But the Hunter Arts, which are essentially supers, have the Shoryuken, which got added to the moveset later. It has the series of powerful slashes, which got added to the core moveset later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think no matter what genre you're describing, like the core principles are going to be the same, where the less content and options the player has, the tighter everything has to be, the more rigid it has to be, and the more like ultimately like, you know, balanced against itself. Versus
this game is wildly unbalanced.
Exactly, right? And it doesn't matter if it's unbalanced because there's so much. So it's a buffet. It's not a curated plate. You can go grab any weapon and then pick a style and then go fight one of a billion monsters, and it's like, again, a smorgasbord of, you know, content. So unbalanced is fine. You're never going to get bored with the permutations.
And so GU also has so by the way, GU's on sale right now. It's like 75% off on Switch, so that's cool. But since GU is an old style Monster Hunter game and doesn't give a fuck about onboarding you, low rank is a real game, and high rank is more real game, and G rank is more real game. So it's 93 monsters across 3 difficulty modes for something like 250-ish like fights of value, plus all the event quests like turning your Palico into Isabel and all sorts of stupid shit. It is the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 of Monster Hunter.
Yeah, different game.
It is just bursting with shit. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great. I thought going back would be tougher. I thought like going back to like the old pre-convenience stuff would be much harder than it is. There's only one thing that is brutal. And I mean brutal going back. There are no weapon trees when you go to forge weapons in GU.
Okay.
The way that it works is you pick a weapon and you go to upgrade, and it goes, you can upgrade it into this or this. And there's no way to like plan out where it would go at all. So you have to load up Kira Nico.
I don't think I remember what you're describing about Worlds.
Well, no, because you never saw it.
Oh, so then I don't know what you're talking about. So then I don't know what you're talking about.
You would go to like you use Charge Blade?
I use Charge Blade, yeah.
So in Monster Hunter World, you'd go to Forge Charge Blade, and it would show you this massive list. It'd go Bareth Charge Blade, Puke Charge Blade, and you know, it would show the list, and then it would show little branching trees, and most of them would be question marks, right? Because you didn't get the parts. But you'd be like, oh, if I want to get a water Charge Blade, I should fight Juratotus, and because that's the start of this tree, right? Or I want the Tigrex Charge Blade. The Tigrex one is here, and then I can work backwards. Oh, I should make the Golem one, then I should make this one, then I should make this one, and then I can make a Tigrex one, right? GU doesn't have that. GU has, do you want to make the weapon? Okay, you made the weapon. Do you want to know what it goes into? Fucking make every single one, every permutation of every single thing, because the trees are all hidden.
Oh, you cannot see what goes into what.
You can't see it. So what you do is go to kiranico.com and click on Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate and click on Charge Blade.
Yeah, okay.
And then you look at the tree that Kiranico has made for you.
It's old Demon Fusion.
Because everything before World was, well, you're going to go buy this at the Yodobashi camera, and you're going to pick up the guide right next to it as part of your purchase, because you need the guide to play Monster Hunter. And World, one of the things they westernized was like to decrease the necessity of using a guide by actually putting some of that information in the game.
I'm curious what the onboard kind of looks like, you know, going backwards to the pre-GU games and stuff. Because
what onboard?
Well, that's the question, right? Because there's a clear reset in the franchise, and here we're starting over. Everybody, great time to get into this new thing that is, you know, like a completely different direction, and. Yeah, like what does the onboarding look like for Ultra Street Fighter 4 as opposed to now with 6 World Tour, Modern Mode, etc. You know, there's always these
Generations U is really built like, you know what to do, get in there. You know how it works. Fucking do it. Like,
so it's not surprising how things turned out the way they did. You know, ultimately, like, companies do always kind of have this, not always, but tend to have this, like, the franchise has become like highly specialized for experts, and people that want to get in either already have or have a buddy that can explain it to them, but somebody who wants to jump into the party with no guidance has no hips to grab onto.
So 4U had onboarding. 4U had a tutorial quest and like an introduction and an opening cutscene and all sorts of shit. When you start Generations Ultimate, you hit start and you finish your character creator, and it just drops you into the village and says, go fucking do a quest now.
Okay.
It has the least setup of any game ever in the Monster Hunter franchise. It has no setup at all. And then you walk over to the quest counter, and the first 7 quests are pick berries and capture bugs.
Okay.
And you fight the first monster in your 2-star quest after like 5 hours of learning how to fucking pick berries. So the onboarding in that game is get materials, get items, figure out the controls. Now maybe fight something. And that was the era of, dude, just power through. Just power through. Once you get to 10 hours and you're fighting lots of monsters every time, it's fucking peak. And that's true. That is true. But it took me just as long to fight a low rank Rathalos in GU from nothing as it did for me to beat the final boss in Wilds' campaign.
It took you just as long.
It took about 15 hours to go from nothing to Rathalos as it did for me to beat the entirety of Wilds' campaign.
Okay. But when you did start the fights, you're also saying the fight lengths themselves in multiplayer lasted about the same.
Yeah.
But they were just harder.
Yeah, the thing with the monsters are much more aggressive. The other thing is that I spent like an entire stream with chat trying to get parts for Nargacuga armor. Whole fucking stream. Just like wouldn't drop any cut wings. Wouldn't drop a goddamn fucking cut wing over and over and over and over and over. Wouldn't drop it. So just kept doing it. Took, I don't know, like 10 hunts. Meanwhile, when I was playing Wilds, I was making full sets out of like 3 hunts. So like part of the whole reason people play Monster Hunter is I would like to fight a bunch of monsters and grind out a set and get really good at fighting Nargacuga or Yangaruga or Rathalos or Diablos or whatever. And when I was playing through the low rank in Wilds, I just didn't have to do that because I got all the materials so fast.
I guess the whole time comparison thing was like the new monsters are easier, but they have more life.
I guess they do have more life. I don't think they have enough because it feels like in the older games, it felt like there's a back and forth between the monster and you. Like the monster is going to do its things and you have to dodge them and you have to sneak in like your bullshit on it. And then if it flinches, you get free reign to do what you want for 5 seconds. And when the monster lands, you have to be careful of wind pressure. And when the monster stomps, you have to be careful of tremor pressure and all these things. Whereas in like Wilds, I felt like I'm bullying the monster and the monster is fighting back against me.
But you also, right. And so, but at high rank in the new game, like it gets hard again and
it does,
the challenge just comes back.
But like I would say people in the chat were noticing that I fought something called a Yangaruga, a Yankaku.
I remember that.
And
the egg holder.
It was more aggressive in the low rank 2-star quest in GU than it is in high rank in Wilds. Like the monsters are more aggressive, and they're a little less aggressive in World, and they're a little more aggressive in Rise, and they're much less aggressive in Wilds. It's kind of a ping pong between the hyper games.
Okay. Different chicken. Never mind. What's the one that holds the egg?
That's
Kulu Yaku.
Kulu Yaku. That's it.
You said
he's cool.
Yan Kaku.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's cool. I like him.
I tried.
It's tough, but the long and short of it
fights Jogo.
The long and short of it is that GU is fucking awesome, and it's totally viable to play now. You just need like a couple of tips, and for early quests, you need to know the key quests so you don't waste your time. Absolutely, still incredible game. Still great. I still miss the sound effect you get when you pick up items. Like all the new games don't have it. I love it. It's a great sound effect. And I also found out doing this that there is a community patch for Iceborne. I did not know that people were so unhappy with parts of World's Iceborne expansion that they decided to rebalance it themselves. And that thing is called the Iceborne Community Enhancement Patch, and I'm going to try that out when I'm done with this because that looks great.
Okay, cool. Now the most important question to me is, how cool is that game's version of Proof of a Hero?
Oh, they're all cool, man.
Okay.
They're all great.
Because as someone who's not into the franchise, I've grown to really like that song because of Marvel.
I'll tell you what, though. When you fight the final boss in Wilds, Proof of a Hero doesn't play. And I disagree with that.
I see.
I don't think that's good. I think that's wrong to do.
I mean, I feel like if I my interest point still strongest is drawn to probably towards Rise, just because of the dogs, you know. If I ever wanted to see what was up. But yeah, interesting little experiment there.